% of people who are born have something within them where they already know what the passion is. And 95% of the world has to discover what they want to trade their life for.
I do remember my curiosity being boundless. I can remember being a boy, getting on a bus, school bus, and saying to the driver, why do you want to drive a bus? That would fascinate me. And so later in life I would ask pilots, are all flights the same? What kick do you get out of taking an airplane up? I remember asking a pilot once, he said he'd never been asked this. I said, when you're going down the runway, right, and you're going 80, 90, 100, do you know it's going to take off? You know it's going to take off? And he said, I know it's going to take off. I don't know if it's going to elevate.
I don't know if it's going to elevate.
I'm going to take off. But if there's something goes wrong in the engine, I could crash right there. But I will lift. I have to lift. The law of aeronautics will have me lift. But if I lose an engine, the lift is going to go down.
That's kind of like life, isn't it?
Yeah, so I try to ask those questions that I think humans ask. As New Yorker said, street questions. Why do you want to do this? So whether it's Nelson Mandela or Jackie Robinson or Frank Sinatra, they all put their pants leg on one leg at a time. They're all human. Presidents are human, singers are human, victims are human, people who are having tragedy in their life or having exaltation in their life, they're all still people. And they're all still, what do you feel? What's it like to be president? What's it like? What surprised you about the office? What don't you like about it? If you're a former president, what do you miss about it? Why do you do what you do? How much of it is
Self.
Caring for other people? Do you really feel you're representing an entire country? How do you handle criticism? See, all these things boggle me.
So let me turn that table around. Do you ask yourself those questions? About your own life? About your own success? Do you go introspective with you?
Here's how introspective I pinch myself every day that I can't believe that I'm known around the world. I can't believe that. I went to make some speeches in South Africa, and I had lunch with Nelson Mandela, and he came to the door in suspenders, like you're wearing.
Like I'm wearing.
And I was walking down the street in Johannesburg, and it was like a hut. And a man came out of the hut. He looked at me and said, "Larry King alive!" And I said, Jesus, wow.
And you've never let it get to your head?
No, because I always never remember the little kid in Brooklyn who had no money, was on relief. New York City bought us first. In other words, I left Brooklyn, but Brooklyn never left me. So I never forgot where I came from.
Love it. So we're obviously live on the Brainathon, and we've been talking about, success, mindsets, skill set, action sets. You've interviewed 60,000 people. Are there any common denominators that you have garnered from these individuals, from the successful people?
Successful people all have one thing in common, maybe two, but it doesn't matter. You can be a little introverted like Bill Gates. You can be extroverted like Warren Buffett. But they have one thing tremendously in common: unbelievable drive.
Unbelievable drive.
And the drive is not for money.
The drive is not for money.
The money is the byproduct of what they do. Bill Gates left Harvard because he had a dream about a machine. A machine. Warren Buffett was fascinated by businesses. Why that one succeeds, why that one doesn't succeed. So his investments paid off, but his goal wasn't, I want to make 10. Why does this company do it and that company does it? The athlete who pays attention, who works hard at it, the passion. So they all have that drive, they all have a passion. All successful people, even people who are evil.
Even people who are evil.
Which is one of the sure, because nobody evil This is so true. Think about this, folks. Osama bin Laden, Hitler, didn't comb his hair in the morning and say, I am evil.
Right.
I'm a terrible person. I'm a horrible human being and I hate what I do. No. They have the same drive. It just works. Al Capone, Dillinger, they just work off the same... I interviewed Willie Sutton, the great bank robber, who answered the great question, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is.
Right.
That was simple to him.
Yep.
If he had nothing else in life, his drive was to rob banks. He took the risks. The FBI loved him because he never used a gun, but he robbed banks. That was his thought, to fool the bank. That was driven. So that's why the thing I worry about all our technology, I was expressing this to one of your doctors, is every advance brings a throwback.
Okay.
If we didn't invent the airplane, no one would have died in an airplane crash. Didn't invent the car, people didn't die in horse-drawn carriages, right? So somewhere right now, someone is thinking about finding a cure for Alzheimer's. He's in a laboratory. He's a scientist. He's almost close. Somewhere else, someone's in a laboratory thinking about making a bomb that could be hidden in your shirt,
Right.
that would pass through an electronic thing to blow up a city. That's the fear I have for this nuclear age, for this internet age. There's so much good. You have a brain-a-thon. There's so much good. How do we stop the bad?
And I don't know if we can stop the bad. I think as you were talking, one of my thoughts was, we have this amazing ability. We have passion and drive. When we focus it on the good for ourselves, our family, our friends, our communities, and the world, I think we can do a lot to diminish and squash the bad.
I hope so.
And so that's what my hopes are as well. That's part of why we do what we do, is
Maybe
empowering people.
Maybe things like this help.
Yeah.
That someone watching, young person, negative thoughts, maybe he's entranced by ISIS. Something about ISIS is appealing to him.
Yeah.
I can't investigate that, but something is appealing to him. He doesn't want to die. Something's appealing to him. So maybe things like this, positive things,
Yeah.
can trigger that same thing another way. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
That's why you have to keep doing what you're doing.
That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing this to help transform the lives of people, let them know that they can.
I've had a wonderful time here.
You have?
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed meeting the guests and the experts?
Do you do this every year?
Every year?
I'll come back.
You'll come back?
Oh, anytime.
You guys want Larry King back?
I'll be back.
He'll be back.
And
Yeah.
wait, one person should boo. No, leave it.
No. So we've got about 1 minute left. For the people who have some dream inside them, there's something stirring.
Follow your dream.
Tell them.
Follow your dream, and don't be afraid to fail. You will fail sometimes. John had a lot of success. There had to be some failures.
Oh, God, yeah.
And you learn success by failure. So you overcome failure. Derek Jeter, the great baseball player, say, to be a good baseball player, you have to understand failure. I'll give you the best example. I'll use a baseball analogy. If you're a baseball player, and if every 10 times you come to bat, you get 2 hits out of 10, you're in the minor leagues. If you get 3 hits out of 10, you're in the Hall of Fame. Never give up. Every block down is a block up. Every misfortune is a fortune. Get off the porch. Don't give up. If you